The galaxy was at peace under the rule of the Galactic Dominion. Many worlds had been conquered, and thousands of species now served under one banner. The Dominion's fleets crossed the stars like silver storms, crushing any planet that refused to submit. They believed themselves unstoppable. No planet had ever defeated them. In the vast command hall aboard the Dominion flagship Veralis, Admiral Kor stood before a holographic image of a blue and green world. Its swirling white clouds reflected in his golden eyes. He had seen many planets, but this one looked different. Planet name Earth, read Commander Varric, his assistant. Small population compared to the outer colonies. Divided into many nations, always fighting among themselves. Primitive technology, no faster than light travel. Admiral Kor gave a slow, satisfied nod. Then it will be easy. The Dominion needs another supply world in this sector. The humans will surrender quickly. Varric hesitated. There is one strange note in the ancient archives. It is listed as Class-15 Deathworld. Kor frowned. A classification error, no doubt. There are no Class-15 worlds. The highest confirmed is Class-12. Check again. Varric shifted uncomfortably. It's an old report from an exploration drone 200 years ago. It recorded extreme temperatures, radiation bursts, unstable weather, and dangerous wildlife. The drone never returned. Kor turned away. Machines fail all the time. This planet will fall like the others. Prepare the invasion fleet. The order spread across the Dominion Armada. Hundreds of warships moved into position, forming a line that stretched for miles. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful, its oceans calm and continents bright under sunlight. None of the Dominion crew understood the warning hidden beneath that calm beauty. On the planet's surface, Major Ethan Brooks of the United States Defense Forces sat inside a command center buried deep under Colorado. His screen filled with strange signals from space. At first he thought they were asteroids, but the patterns were too regular, too controlled. "Sir, unidentified objects entering orbit," said a young technician. They're massive." Ethan leaned forward. "Get me visuals." The image came through. The sky above the Pacific filled with dark shapes. Ships. Dozens, maybe hundreds, reflecting the sunlight like silver spears. Ethan's throat went dry. He opened a secure channel. "Captain Laura Mitchell, are you seeing this?" Her calm voice came from the other end. "Yes, Major. We're tracking them from the coast. These aren't any nation's ships. Whatever they are, they just parked above half the planet." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then it's real. Contact the Joint Command. We're under possible extraterrestrial threat." Within minutes, every major government on Earth went into emergency session. Fighter jets took to the skies. Satellites focused on the incoming fleet, and people around the world stopped what they were doing to stare upward. In orbit, Admiral Kor watched the small blue world spin beneath his feet. "Begin transmission," he ordered. A deep voice echoed across radio waves translated into Earth's main languages. "To the inhabitants of the planet called Earth. You are now subjects of the Galactic Dominion. Surrender your weapons and resources. Resistance will be met with force." The message spread across news networks, cell phones, and military channels. Some people laughed. Others prayed. Governments hesitated, unsure whether to respond or wait. Ethan Brooks didn't wait. He called Laura Mitchell again. "Captain, you heard them. If this is real, we can't just sit and talk. Start defensive protocols. Scramble every jet we've got." Laura's voice hardened. "Already on it. If they're here to invade, they'll find out we don't go down easy." The Dominion's first attack began at dawn. Massive dropships entered the atmosphere, burning through the air like meteors. Their goal was to secure a landing zone in the Rocky Mountains and near several major cities. But Earth itself fought back. The first wave of ships met thick storms that came from nowhere. Lightning struck the metal hulls, frying their control systems. One ship spun out of control and crashed into the Pacific. Two more disappeared into hurricane clouds that formed faster than the Dominion's sensors could predict. From his flagship, Admiral Kor watched the disaster unfold. "What is happening down there?" Varric studied the readings. "The planet's magnetic field is unstable, Admiral. It's interfering with our guidance. We're losing ships without a single shot fired." Kor slammed his clawed hand against the console. "Adjust for the field. Continue descent. We will not be stopped by weather." But the weather was only the beginning. On the ground, as the first alien troops landed, they were met not with surrender but with a rain of missiles, bullets, and drone strikes. Humans from every nation coordinated faster than any alien command structure. The skies over Colorado and Eastern Europe became battlefields of light and fire. Captain Laura Mitchell led one of the first counterattacks. Her squad moved through the forest near the landing zone, wearing night vision goggles and carrying rocket launchers. They could hear the alien walkers stomping through the trees. She whispered into her headset, "Wait for the signal." Now dozens of rockets launched at once, striking the alien transports. The explosions lit up the night like fireworks. Laura's team cheered as the ground shook. "Confirmed kills," her radio operator said. "Multiple hits on enemy craft." "They're pulling back," Laura smiled grimly. "Then we hit them again." The aliens were not used to this kind of war. On most planets, their arrival caused immediate surrender. But humans fought like cornered beasts, fast, creative, and fearless. Admiral Kor received more reports of chaos. Troops were being ambushed in the mountains, bombarded in cities, and harassed by small aircraft that moved too fast for targeting systems. Even Earth's animals seemed to attack them. One commander reported losing half a squad to large furred predators with teeth like blades. Another claimed that insects had destroyed their energy supplies. Corey stared at the reports in disbelief. "How can this be? These are primitive creatures." Varric looked uneasy. "Perhaps the classification was not wrong, Admiral. This world truly is a death world." Kor ignored him. "Then we will make it submit. Prepare orbital bombardment." High above Earth, Dominion ships began charging their plasma cannons, but before they could fire, Earth's defense satellites responded. The aliens didn't realize how advanced human hacking systems were. Within seconds, Dominion targeting computers went haywire. Instead of hitting cities, their cannons fired into empty oceans, or worse, into their own ships. Kor watched in horror as 3 of his cruisers exploded in a chain reaction. "Who did this?" he roared. Varric answered quietly. "The humans, Admiral. They accessed our navigation grid through our broadcast frequencies." Kor's pride burned. "Then jam every signal. Crush them." But the damage was already done. Around the world, human armies fought back with courage that no alien commander could understand. They used homemade traps, captured alien weapons, and every ounce of creativity. In Africa, a small village used mirrors to blind alien sensors. In South America, soldiers lured Dominion mechs into volcano fields and watched them melt. In Europe, hackers hijacked an entire Dominion drone fleet and turned it against their masters. Ethan Brooks watched the world's battle maps light up with victories. "They underestimated us," he said. "They thought we'd be scared," Laura replied over the radio, her voice calm but proud. "They came to a planet that even its own people struggled to survive. They picked the wrong world to invade." As night fell, the first day of the invasion ended. The Dominion had lost over 20 ships, thousands of troops, and their control of half the orbital grid. On the flagship Viralis, Admiral Kor stood in silence, staring at Earth through the window. The planet glowed with fire and lightning as if alive. He spoke softly, almost to himself. "A world that fights back against the sky itself. What kind of monsters live here?" Varric answered, his voice low. "The kind that learn to survive anything." Kor turned sharply. "Then we will see how long their survival lasts. Tomorrow we strike harder. We will remind them who rules this galaxy." But deep inside, even Kor felt something he had not felt in centuries. It was not anger. It was not hatred. It was fear. And on Earth, Major Ethan Brooks looked up at the same stars and whispered to himself, "If they think they can take this planet, they'll find out what being human really means." The wind howled outside the base, carrying the scent of fire and iron. The invasion had begun, but the war was only just starting. The second day of the invasion began with thunder rolling across the sky. It was not natural thunder, but the roar of alien engines and human aircraft. The war for Earth had entered its next phase. Admiral Kor stood on the bridge of his flagship, his claws tapping the floor as reports came in. His voice was cold and sharp. "Status of the landing operations?" Commander Varric looked at his screen. "Ground troops established partial bases near the Rocky Mountains in Eastern Europe. But they are facing constant resistance. Human forces appear everywhere. They move faster than our scanners can track." Kor's golden eyes narrowed. "Then we will burn them out. Send more troops. I want that planet secured within 3 cycles." But the invasion was not going as planned. Every time the Dominion made progress, Earth struck back. The humans did not fight by rules. They used the planet itself as a weapon. Near the Rockies, snowstorms swallowed entire alien columns. Soldiers froze where they stood, their armor coated in ice. In the jungles of South America, Humidity ruined plasma rifles. In the desert, sandstorms ripped apart hovercraft. It seemed as if Earth itself was rejecting its invaders. Major Ethan Brooks watched live satellite feeds in the underground command room. His eyes were heavy from lack of sleep, but his mind was clear. He pointed at one of the screens. They're trying to push south through the mountains. If they take that route, they'll reach Denver. Captain Laura Mitchell leaned over the table. Then we stop them before they even get there. I can take my team through the old mining tunnels. We can strike from behind. Ethan looked at her and nodded. Do it. You'll have drone support and 2 artillery units covering you. Laura smiled faintly. If they think we'll hide, they're wrong. Her team moved out before dawn. Snow fell thick over the forest. They carried simple weapons, rifles, grenades, and rocket launchers. The tunnels were dark and cold, but they knew the terrain better than any alien map. Above them, Dominion troops marched in heavy armor. Their scanners showed no movement, so they relaxed. One alien spoke in his guttural language, saying humans were cowards. Then the ground exploded beneath them. Laura's team rose from the tunnels like ghosts. Rockets and bullets filled the air. The aliens fired back, their plasma bolts lighting up the forest, but humans kept moving, fast, unpredictable, and silent between bursts of fire. When the fight was over, smoke rose through the trees. Dozens of alien machines burned. Laura stood among her team, breathing hard but smiling. That's how we fight, she said. Far away in orbit, Admiral Kor could not believe the latest reports. His best ground units were being destroyed by soldiers with old-fashioned guns and explosives. Barrick read the data aloud. Human losses minimal. Dominion losses high. They fight in small groups, Admiral. They ambush us, vanish, and reappear somewhere else. Kor's jaw tightened. Then we will bring total firepower. Send air cruisers to burn their forests and mountains. Barrick hesitated. Admiral, this planet's atmosphere is unstable. Our weapons may trigger unpredictable weather. Kor's voice became a growl. Do it. The cruisers descended into the upper atmosphere and began firing plasma strikes across the forests. But the air reacted strangely. Heat mixed with moisture, and within hours massive storm clouds formed. Lightning storms stronger than any on record hit the ships. Several were torn apart by wind and debris. Kor stared in disbelief as one of his fleet captains shouted over the comm. We're being struck by the planet itself. It's like it knows we're here. Varric whispered. This world is alive in ways we don't understand. Kor slammed his fist against the console. Enough of this superstition. We are the Dominion. We do not lose to savages and weather. Back on Earth, Ethan Brooks stood beside a group of scientists studying the atmosphere. It's strange, one of them said. Every time the aliens fire those massive weapons, it triggers chain reactions in our climate systems. Their own technology is turning against them. Ethan gave a tired smile. Then let's use that. Tell every command center to feed them bad coordinates. Make them fire where it hurts them most. Soon after, Dominion ships began firing on decoy signals. Their plasma blasts hit fault lines, volcanoes, and unstable regions of the sea. Earth shook, erupted, and swallowed entire landing zones. What the aliens thought were attacks became disasters for themselves. Meanwhile, humanity began to unite like never before. Nations that once distrusted each other now shared data and supplies. American satellites worked with European hackers. Asian engineers modified alien tech for human use. African soldiers created mobile defense shields using captured parts. For the first time in history, humanity fought as one species. Captain Laura Mitchell's team was sent to a new target, the Dominion supply node hidden near a crashed ship in the desert. The mission was called Operation Sandstorm. Her small group moved across the dunes at night. The air was dry and still, the stars bright above them. They carried packs full of explosives and stolen alien tools. When they reached the site, they saw the supply node glowing blue under the moonlight. It pulsed like a living heart, feeding power to nearby ships. Laura whispered, "We only get one shot at this." Her engineer, a young man named Chris, started setting the charges. He looked nervous. "If this thing blows wrong, it'll take us with it." Laura placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we'll make sure it doesn't go wrong." They worked quickly. But as they were finishing, alien patrols appeared. Plasma fire lit up the dunes. Sand flew in all directions. Laura's team dove for cover and returned fire. "Chris, finish the setup," she shouted. He nodded and connected the final wire. The device started to hum. "It's done. Get clear." The humans ran through the sand, chased by beams of blue light. Just as the aliens reached the device, it exploded in a brilliant flash. The entire desert shook. The Dominion supply node went up in flames. Back at command, Ethan saw the satellite feed. The explosion was visible from space. "They did it," he said softly. "They actually did it." Laura's voice came through the radio, full of static but calm. "Target destroyed. Mission complete. We're coming home." That night, for the first time since the invasion began, people around the world cheered. Cities that had been silent now rang with the sound of hope. But in orbit, the mood was very different. Admiral Kor stared at the broken remains of his supply network. His claws clenched in fury. How are these creatures doing this? They should not have this level of coordination. Varric said carefully, "They learn faster than we expected. They adapt faster than we can counter." Kor turned toward him. "Then we will crush them before they adapt further. Ready the orbital bombardment for global targets. We'll burn their cities and their spirit." Varric swallowed. "Admiral, with respect, if we do that, we risk losing the entire atmosphere. This planet's reactions are unstable. It could destroy us too." Kor's voice was low and angry. "Do it. I will not be defeated by animals." The bombardment began. Giant beams of light fired down from the fleet. But again, the planet fought back. The heat caused massive storms, lightning strikes, and magnetic surges that spread across the skies. Communication systems failed. Ships lost navigation. One Dominion cruiser turned its guns by mistake and hit two others. Kor's control bridge flickered with sparks as alarms screamed. "Shut it down! Shut everything down!" Varric shouted over the noise. "It's too late. The feedback is collapsing our systems." Kor looked out the window and saw Earth shining through the clouds, beautiful and terrible. He finally understood what his troops had been whispering. This was no ordinary planet. It was alive, dangerous, and unwilling to bow to anyone. On the ground, Laura Mitchell watched the strange lights in the sky fade as the bombardment failed. She looked up and whispered, "They just don't get it. You can't conquer this world. It fights for us." Ethan's voice came over the radio. "You bought us time, Captain. Now we hit back harder. Every country is sending reinforcements. The aliens are losing control." Laura smiled. "Then let's make sure they never forget what kind of planet they invaded." The night passed slowly, filled with smoke and the faint sound of thunder. Across the world, humans prepared for another day of war. The invaders had more power, more ships, and more weapons, but Earth had something stronger: willpower. And as dawn came, the broken alien fleet circled above, realizing the truth they had refused to see. This was not a simple world. This was a Class-15 Deathworld, and the humans who called it home were its ultimate survivors. Admiral Kor looked at the rising sun and muttered, "This planet refuses to die." Varric stood beside him, silent for a long moment, then said softly, "Maybe that's why they live here, because only creatures stronger than death itself could survive on such a world." Kor said nothing. He just watched as fires burned across continents and thought of the impossible question forming in his mind. What kind of beings could thrive on a world that kills everything weak? Far below, Ethan Brooks answered that question without knowing it. He turned to his officers and said, "We're humans. We don't quit. Not now. Not ever." And somewhere deep within the storm-filled sky, the planet itself seemed to agree.